This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions.
Hi, this is Joe Rabil. So I want to check in and talk about MACD again. All right. Now, MACD has some versatility to it. I don't know that most people are aware of because it can act as an overbought, oversold oscillator, and then it can act as a trend indicator. All right. You need to know the difference. I'm going to give you a couple examples to show you how and when we need to alter our thinking with MACD. All right. Now, if you want to learn more about some of these techniques, I would suggest starting with my book. You can click the link in the description to find out more. If you enjoy this content, can you please hit that like button and also subscribe? All right. So I've got the weekly chart of TTWO up here, Take Two Interactive, and I've gone back a long way. All right, we've gone back from 2025 all the way back to 2008 because I wanted to show some things that I think can be really helpful, and I think this is a good exercise as well. Now, what we do is we notice that MACD acts as an overbought, oversold oscillator. Right, it can just trade around the zero line. All right, so in other words, it uses we can almost call the zero line a center line because MACD will trade above it and then trade below and then trade above and then below. And then at some point in time, the MACD will find support at the zero line, which I would say is 2014 for this stock. All right, instead of trading through the line in either direction, it found support at that line and then turned back up. All right. Now, the reason why that's so important is that I think that's a sign that this trend is turning into a much more aggressive and strong trend to the upside. And what ends up happening is down the road, we continue to use the zero line as support. And then at some point, we break away from that line and we get sort of an accelerated run. All right. Now, when we get those, we are on the lookout for signs of divergence to take place when we get real extended after an extended move like that. And in this case, it did show up in the form of we came down and rallied back up, and this broke the signal line and then formed a little divergent pinch. Okay, that's out of my book. It's a really powerful pattern when you've made a big run and you're extended away from the zero line. So this is what we're looking for, extended away. Now, you won't always get divergence at a peak. Sometimes you get sort of like, the momentum is so strong that it's like more like a climax. But we always want to be on the lookout for divergences when we get stretched away. Now, that sets the stage for a move back down to the zero line that tries and doesn't succeed to get things going again. All right. And then we break down through the zero line. Once we break through the zero line definitively, then we know that that trend is truly over. All right. So that almost coincides with the price action. If you think about it, we break the trend line, kind of turn the trend down right about the same time that we're doing it with MACD crossing down through the zero line. Now, I think that's only true if you go through an extended period where it's been holding the zero line. All right. If it hasn't been, then you're just flopping around back and forth, and there's really not a strong trend. And there will be times where you will use the zero line as support and resistance. So in this case, it acted as resistance. In this case, it acted as support. And that can be a part of a new trending move. All right. We're seeing that in Take Two Interactive right now. We're also seeing the potential for a little momentum divergence playing out here. We'll have to see if we get that. I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance this is going to come down to the 18. The question becomes, does this, do a little bit more than that and form something that can actually cause this to work its way back down to the zero line? All right. So I think that's a good example. Let's look at something like TMO. Now, again, look at the way this played out. We had zero line trading around the zero line, no respect for the zero line. And then we started to find it here, and then it made a pretty good launching move, and then it found support again. And these are, to me, even though I want to make sure you understand, even though these these overran a little bit. I still consider this a part of a trending move. Sometimes you get a little overrun as a part of a major trend. Look at how long this trend lasted. It just kept going and going and going. And then you finally got both lines to clearly break through, and that was pretty much it. All right, and then you should expect trading around the zero line, right? We go through this choppy session where after a big extended run, you're not going to have continuation to the upside. So don't look for. So it's almost like if you just run a marathon, you're not going to get back out there and run another marathon right away. You're going to rest. You're going to rehab. You're going to go through a period of digestion, eating right, resting your legs, and then you start over again. All right. So same thing with the stock. It's just the way things play out. But zero line, it acts as a center line, and then it finds support, and then it acts as a springboard essentially for the trend. And anytime you work your way back down towards that line, it's probably another opportunity to be a buyer. Okay. Now, we're trying to use price in conjunction with MACD. I'm not trying to use it independently, but it's a really great exercise. I got rid of ADX. It's a great exercise. I talk about this in my course. You want to learn how to use price and the indicator, one indicator, and the price by itself. All right. You take everything else off the screen and you learn how to use this indicator in a way that you might not have thought of using it. It can be a great trend indicator, all right? And you want to know that if you're in that mode, if the stock is in that mode, it can be a helpful tool for that, all right? Now, let's just take one more look at another stock here. I've got UNH. Now, I mean, this went through a really nice trend here. Notice how we were trading around and couldn't really get things going. And then all of a sudden, in 2009, 2010, we started to hold the zero line, okay? And then look at this in 2011. We did it again in 2012, 2013. Didn't make it all the way down in 2014, but then again in 2016. It was about a 10-year period where the zero line acted as support for the trend. And every time you came down into that area, here's some opposing trend patterns, but zero line reversals. On the lookout for signals in that regard. And then when they finally broke that, we went through a choppy couple of years, and then it tried to get back on its horse and get going again. It used the zero line as support. Found support at the zero line. First it acted and failed at the line, but then once we found support at that line, that was the start of the next trend. Now notice the way this dropped off and broke here in 2020. Whoops. Let me erase that. Basically right at the beginning of 2023, that was essentially where the trend was breaking, and where you see how the moving average would close 18, cross down below the 40, both lines declining. That was the start of the downtrend. Now, the downtrend didn't last very long, but it was the end of the uptrend that was so important, because now we're just chopping around and trading around the zero level. All right. So recognize these things. I think they're incredibly important. And, one of the other things you want to make sure you're keeping in mind is that we use, when we get, we don't, where it's using the zero line as support, be real careful about looking for powerful divergent plays. All right, you can play divergences, but know that they're shorter term plays, just looking for reversion to the mean, and then they're probably going to get back on track because the zero line is acting as support. All right, now if you get a situation where you break the zero line and we don't really have a trending pattern in place, that's really where we want to look for divergences. So let me just show you. So we break the trend, and then we come down and we make a lower low here, and then we make a higher low here. That's a really good little divergence. We're stretched away, but not too far. It's a sign of a trading move back to the upside, right? So use those to your advantage, and you can also look for these undercut and rally patterns in the same sort of situation. So we undercut the low here, right, and then immediately come back up. Big spike, move back up, find support at the 18, and that's a really nice trading play. In a situation where, we don't have a trending confirmation from MACD and price is basically chopping around, working sideways. All right. So keep these things in mind when you're trading. Look for the stocks that are in these types of modes. If you're playing pullback trades, you want to do this. And this happens in all time frames. Now, it might not happen for this long a period in other time frames. The weekly has probably the smoothest trends, right? But what I'll say is that you can find them in the smaller time frames and use that zero line to your advantage. When you see it holding, look for these pullback plays, posing trend patterns on the smaller time frames. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.